So this is the wrap-up for the live market open for Monday, May 30th. Liquidity is relatively thin. We have a bank holiday in the United States and in the United Kingdom. Not the most important holidays, but liquidity is thinner. Main topics on the markets today, those that are open. Yellen on Friday, late on Friday, warmed up to raising rates. First of all, she surprised with with talking about monetary policy, not avoiding the topic. It wasn't on the cards, but she wasn't extremely hawkish, but she did talk about raising rates in the next few months, in the upcoming months. And she talked about inflation moving higher and was more optimistic about growth. This certainly supports the US dollar across the board. Nothing extreme, but I think, again, that we'll have a rate hike in July unless we have a Brexit, unless we have really terrible data. In addition, over the weekend we had, and this morning, Monday morning in Japan is ready to delay the sales tax hike. This has been in the news for a long time, but now it seems more and more real. Japanese stocks are higher. Of course, last time we had a sales tax hike was 2 years ago, in April 2014. It sent the Japanese economy into recession. One of the excuses for now is the recent earthquake in the south of Japan, but also fear of recession and more support for the economy. Anyway, when stocks go up, so does dollar yen, and it's well, the yen is very weak this morning. It really stands out, and the Brexit debate gets fiercer. Data in the United States was not really surprising. A small upwards revision on GDP and downwards revision on consumer sentiment, but more or less unchanged. This morning we have German CPI figures. They're released throughout the morning from the various German states, Bavaria and others, of course. And at 12 GMT we have the final all-German figure. I mean, it's the preliminary figure for May, but the all-German one. Spanish CPI came out more or less as expected, a drop of 1.1 in prices year over year. The inflation prospects don't look good for the old continent. In Canada, the current account is expected at 12:30 GMT. We have more figures from Japan. They have become less important with the political news, but still worth watching household spending and industrial output. And a few interesting figures from Australia overnight, 1:30, building approvals and current account. All in all, thin liquidity means relatively shallower movements. Anyway, euro dollar, let's go over the charts quickly. 1:1130 now switches to resistance from support. Support awaits at 1:1070. Pound dollar, very stable, 146.10 between 145.80 and 146.50. Dollar yen, undoubtedly the big mover today, extending its gains throughout the show as well. 1:1135. Next resistance for me, it's clear, 112. Support at well, should push it back down, I guess, around 11060. Dollar CAD, 130.80 is some kind of weak resistance, followed by 131.70. Support at 130. Oil prices have not captured, did not settle above 50, not yet. Aussie dollar in a lower range between 71.40 to 71.75. And the Kiwi dollar a bit lower this morning, 66.83. I see 66.70 as some kind of support. Anyway, ranges are quite narrow right here. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the wrap up. See here more comments, questions. Let's say Aussie behaves better. Yeah, I also think so. Yeah, it all depends on the sentiment, fundamental, seasonal trends. Yeah, certainly agree on that. Things change all the time, One thing that worked well in the past is seasonal trends. Yeah, I would mention that Adam Button of Forex Live, he's sort of an expert. Well, not sort of, he's an expert in general, but he has interesting insights on seasonal trends. And it doesn't make sense that it works, but it does. I mean, in many cases, most cases. Yeah. Another comment here. All else considered equal, risk sentiment fundamentals, high volume on a highly traded pair offers better respect for technical levels. Yes and no. Sometimes there are just too many moving parts, in my opinion. So yeah, in theory, it's supposed to help because everybody's looking at the same levels, but the stop loss points could be at different points, and that can make a mess. All right, so that's it for today. I wish everybody a safe and successful day in markets. Tomorrow it's the last day of the month, so we'll have this sort of end of month movements, some crazy ones, and also important data. Markets will be back, so things should be quite interesting tomorrow as well. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I wish everybody a safe, successful day in markets, and see you tomorrow. Thank you, and bye-bye.